Court case rulings. So here we're going to find the actual decisions made by the judges in all the court cases that you guys read. All the court cases that you read were indeed real life court cases. So court case number one, that was the one where the state of West Virginia passed a law ordering all schools to force students to participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. The court ruling, the case is called West Virginia v. Barnett, 1943. And the Supreme Court ruled it was unconstitutional to compel students to salute the flag or pledge the allegiance. So it was unconstitutional, or it was unlawful, or it was illegal to force students to salute the flag. So this sided with the students. The Jehovah's Witness students were in the right to refuse this. Court case number two. This is the one where the New York State Board of Regents suggested to add a prayer to the mourning day. And the court ruled in Engel versus Vitale, 1962. Supreme Court ruled it was unconstitutional to have prayer in school, even if it was voluntary and not tied to a specific religion. So again, it was unlawful to add prayer to the school. The school system cannot add prayer to the regular school day. Court case number three. This is the one with the city of Cleveland, Ohio, that helped students go to, this was the city of Cleveland, where it gave some students public money to attend private schools, including religious schools. So this case, Zelman v. Simmons, 2002, the Supreme Court rule declared that the school voucher program did not violate the Establishment Clause. So by giving students money, this voucher, to go to another school, it did not violate the separation of church and state, this Establishment Clause. So the city of Chicago was the winning party. Court case four. This is the one with the clerk in Kentucky that refused to give marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Miller v. Davis, 2015. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit halted the clerk from continuing to deny future license requests. So the court ruled in favor of the same-sex couples. They ordered the clerk that you cannot deny, you cannot refuse to give licenses to these people. Court case number five. This is the case where the baker in Colorado refused to create a cake for a gay couple. And then the state civil rights agency intervened and ordered the baker to change its policies. This went to court in the case Masterpiece Cake Shop v. Colorado, 2018. And it ruled the Supreme Court reversed the civil rights agency decision, saying that the state was obligated to stay neutral. So the Supreme Court ordered the state to remain neutral, to have no opinion on it. So the state initially sided with the same-sex couple to have the cake be made, but the Supreme Court ruled that the state in this situation has to remain neutral. They cannot take sides. So if the baker refuses to create a cake for that couple, the state cannot take sides, cannot order that baker to do that. Now you'll notice that number 5 and number 4 are very similar, but the outcomes are different. And to highlight it, this baker here in number 5 is a private business. It's a business created by a regular person. It has nothing to do with the government. And this person refused to create a cake for a gay couple because this person believed that couples should not be gay, it should be man and woman, so they refused. In number 4, it's different because this clerk works for the government of Kentucky. So their job is to issue marriage licenses. And in this job, the court ordered this person to do the job, essentially, that you work for the government and the government cannot take sides in favoring or denying same-sex couples, so they have to treat it like a regular couple. So it forced that clerk to give those marriage licenses because this clerk worked for the government. Number 5, this was a private business. This was a baker in its own business, and the government cannot interfere with that. Court case number 6. So this is the one where with the high school teacher who taught evolution in his class. Now the court case, Scopes v. State, 1925. The jury found Mr. Scopes guilty, and he had to pay a $100 fine, which is around $1,400 today. The verdict was later repealed on a technicality. Later, in 1968, the Supreme Court ruled in a similar case, Epperson v. Arkansas, and stated that bans such as the one in the Butler Act was unconstitutional because it was motivated by promoting religious beliefs. So this one's a bit complicated. This is the case where the state of Tennessee passed this law, the Butler Act, banning teaching the subject of evolution. Now, initially in the first case, they found the teacher guilty because the state banned evolution, the teacher taught evolution, so it was a clear case of you broke the law. However, later the verdict was repealed, meaning it was taken back on technicality due to some issue. But there's more development even later in 1968 in a similar law, just similar court case. It stated that this court case with Mr. Scopes, the Butler Act was actually illegal because the state of Tennessee, the reason why they created this Butler Act is because the scientific idea of evolution to many religious people believes that it goes against religious beliefs. So they wanted to ban the teaching of evolution because some people believe that it violated or it goes against their religion. And in a later case, Epperson versus Arkansas, they ruled that this was unconstitutional. You cannot pass laws that are motivated by promoting religious beliefs. So this law was passed, the Butler Act was passed with the full intention of promoting the religious belief that evolution conflicts with certain people's religious beliefs, so it should be banned from schools. So this one's a bit of a complicated case. And if you got this one wrong, don't feel bad. Number 7 is the one with the nonprofit organizations, and we're not going to go into this too much. But the court case ruling with the Johnson Amendment, with this new law, in 2017, an executive order was signed by the president as a way of easing the restrictions of this rule. We're not going to get into that because it gets a bit more complicated. Court case summary number 8. So this is the court case about the preschool that had church affiliation, wanted to get some money from the state to fix their playground, to remodel their playground, and the state refused. And the court case is Trinity Lutheran Church of Columbia v. Comer, 2017. The Supreme Court ruled that the state violated the First Amendment for denying money on account of religious status. So the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the church, of the Trinity Lutheran Church of Columbia, that the state actually violated their rights and that they should be allowed to have access to that money. Okay, so that was the official rulings of the 8 court cases. And with that, you want to go into the concluding questions. And it's going to be associated with how your rulings differed or were similar to the actual rulings. So question number 1, which case surprised you the most? There are 8 of them. Let us know which one, based off of the case and the decisions, which one surprised you the most that it caught you off guard what they actually rule. Which of the rulings did you agree with? Which one did you not agree with? Go ahead, tell me which one makes sense to you and which one didn't, and just give a short reason why. And 3, how would you describe the relationship between church and state in America? Okay, so this one's the big question. So again, church just means religion in general, and state just means the government. So how would you describe the relationship between church and state in America? Because under the law, this should be separated. You should not have any church or any religion in the government. The government should remain neutral on the church and on the religion, meaning it cannot go for or against a particular religion. So church represents all religions and the state represents all governments. So if you think about anything part of the government, it could be the presidency, it could be Congress, it could be police, it could be schools, it could be public libraries, anything to do with the government. What is the relationship to it? Just based off of your observations in the real world. Officially, we're supposed to have a separation of church and state. Religion should not enter anywhere in our government because our government should remain neutral. It cannot take sides, so it should not have anything to do with it. So write your answer here for that question.